And now I've picked a time that's almost chilly. Great. I'm only going to get a few bags done this morning and need to go take a hot shower. This one's a honeycrisp. And I was just reading on the Missouri extension that they don't really do very well in Missouri. I was like, well, that's awesome. They sell them here. So honestly, still somewhat babyish, but doing all right. There's a couple more in this row too. I got some farm, nope, semi. Actually, that was MFA. We'll give this one about half. Maybe a little more. Okay. And then we'll come on over and take a look at the peach tree here. This was a nice peach tree last year. And over the winter, it got stripped by the deer. But it's actually got, I pretty much think it's just suckers coming up. But their leaves still look like a peach tree. And actually, so yeah, mostly suckers, I think, coming out of the ground. But this one here is actually off the tree. So I've just been gonna leave these. We'll see what happens. At some point I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down and remove the stake. But for the summer, I've just kind of been leaving it. I'll probably cut it down in the fall. And yeah, but the deer got to this one pretty good. And in fact, it split too. So they not only rubbed all the bark off, well, somehow this one lost all of its mulch too. It's crazy. some spacers. Need to do some cuts. Should have done some more pruning this spring. Some of this is died. Looks like it got some frostbite. But otherwise, the leaves look pretty good on this one. There's a couple little things going on, but we got some blusher red. A bit of leaf curl. Some more red down here at the bottom, which I think is above the rootstock. Yep, it's above the rootstock, so that's good at least. It's amazing to me though how so many of these trees have lost all of their mulch. And the soil has become so sandy, which is kind of what some of these trees prefer. But it's kind of interesting. Yeah, this soil is very dandelions away. Huh.
Okay, well, I was trying to wait for a break in the vehicles, but it doesn't seem like at this time of morning that there's going to be much of a break in vehicles. So, I just thought I'd kind of come on and say, A, I had some glaze on my face, I just realized it, and B, I sure do like the red mulch much better than the cypress. It won't stay red for very long, but boy, when you first spread it out, it looks nice. But it'll probably take all of about 2 weeks before that's brown and not red. But anyhow, so it'll look much better when it's all done. But for right now, this row right here is actually right in front of me. We've got a pear tree. We got a little pear seedling behind it, a peach tree, and then everything else that's out here is apple trees. So someday we're going to have a lot of apples. Knock on wood. Let's hope. A lot more than those 2 that I spotted in the tree yesterday. So when I got these trees from the Conservation Department in 2021, they were labeled as Rose Mallow. There's part of me that looks at the leaves. Well, that one's already being eaten by something. There's a couple little spots in these. These are going to need to be treated. But the shape of these leaves does kind of make me think that's what it actually is. But it's supposed to be fast growing, and I bought it in seedlings. They were seedlings, so they were not very big. They were quite a bit narrower than this, you know, more like a stick, about probably yay round, like that. So they have grown, I guess, when you think of it in terms of it was smaller than my pinky finger and now it's about the size of my thumb. So I guess that's some growth, but it sure doesn't feel like it's grown very much for 2 years. So it may be I didn't fertilize. They have been out here, they're out here at the end of the property right near the road, so it's hard for me to stretch a hose this far, or a set of hoses this far, I should say. And so last year we had gone around with buckets and kind of did a weekly bucket brigade kind of a thing, and so they got more water last year than they did in 21. But I'm wondering if maybe that's part of why it just doesn't seem like these have put on a whole lot of growth. Now, there's a couple this year. These ones, this side, the far side is the same thing, and the far side had leaves on it very quickly this year. And then this side, these ones, just started greening up like 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of odd. It seemed like that side was alive and this side wasn't, but now this side is catching up too. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't know, just something weird. Anyhow, so these trees actually still have weed block under them. So, and I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Actually, I want to look just to be sure what is going on with the soil and bugs. And oop, here's one right here. What do we got? Like a shell of a fella. Oh, uh-oh. I dropped him. I'm going to go ahead and put them on camera just because I want it on video so that I can go back to it and see what kind of... Let me see if I can even get a good image of the fella. Oh, and then I dropped it. So, if anybody knows what kind of bug that was, please let me know. I don't know. So, see what else we find under here. I may just go ahead and, I think I'm just going to pull this up. Oh, wow. My goodness. You can see how dry it's been, that's for sure. Oh. I couldn't possibly break that. Okay, well, I would guess that that's probably a very good reason why they haven't grown very much. They probably have not been getting enough water. Wow. Let's see what you can see. Bring you in here to see that. That's something. Yeah. So 3-4 weeks ago I would have said we have some pretty good farmland dirt around here, but this is not that. So interesting. I'm gonna have to see what I can do about this, or what I think about this. Huh. I just... Kind of feel like getting a spade and trying to chop it up. Kind of feel like going and getting some of my bags of compost and putting on there. In fact, that might be... Yeah, I think I'm going to stop at this point on this row and come back later on when I feel like grabbing a wheelbarrow full of compost and refreshing some of the soil around here and refresh the mulch then. Alright. Actually kind of makes me want to go look at the other side. See if it's the same. Or if the soil looks any different. Because maybe that's why this side just didn't quite green up as soon as the other side did. I don't know. Conundrum. So today is June 6th, and I just kind of wanted to put my glove down there so you have something to kind of tell the size of this crack in the ground here, and how there are several of these kind of cracks in the ground here right now on June 6th. I mean, it's crazy. We had some water this spring. We've had some storms. We had one very, very tiny storm last week for about 5 minutes. It gave us 1/4 of an inch of rain. And other than that, it's been probably 15-16 days ago since we had a decent rain. And so our soil's just not used to not getting any rain in May. And yeah. So I'm really wondering what the rest of June and July are gonna bring. I usually don't get cracks like that in the ground until about July or August. I mean, I could literally stick my fingers down. Well, I'm not going to, because God knows what's in there. But I could put my whole hand in there. Wow. Stunning. Alright, I'm going to go over to the other side and take a look at the other trees out in the front here. Just out of curiosity. And I forget what type of bush. I think it's spirea bushes here at the front. They also were planted in 2021 and really didn't do anything all of last year. And I was going to rip them out. But that was kind of a bad idea because they're finally starting to grow. So I got to get these two beds cleaned up pretty good too. And I've got some granular fertilizer down around this. And I'm going to try to do some more here. Oh, in about 2 weeks, I think it's due for it. But yeah, it's put on a little bit of growth already. And this right here, this was what the whole thing looked like in early May. And I thought, that's going to have to go, that's going to have to get taken up. And then it started to green up just a tiny bit. And I thought, well, it might get taken up and I'll just try to replant it somewhere and hope that it does something. And then now all of a sudden, it's just growing. I think that, well, I mean, not all of a sudden. I did a fertilizer treatment, so yeah. And I've been working on getting out here with water. It's a little bit difficult at the moment, but it's not impossible. I had just brought buckets of water out, but now I've actually set up a hose reel that I can attach to my sunny day hose and run enough hose out here to not have, I can run enough hose out here to have water, and it's not too troublesome to wind it back up. In fact, that's the hose reel somewhere there in the distance. It was focusing on my finger there, but anyhow, I just kind of have it set there for right now. And I don't have the hose wound up because I was actually watering this one right over here the other night, and off in the distance it looked really dark and it was starting to get really windy, and I thought, uh-oh, I better go inside because it seems like it's about to storm. And it passed right beside us. So yeah, I should be getting the water on the other side very soon. Alright, so this side here, I'll wait for the truck to go by. Okay, so this side here, in 2021, I planted what I thought was the Rose Mallow from the Conservation Department. On either side of the driveway in 2022, the ones directly on either side of the driveway were dead, supposedly. So I planted a cherry bush. Well, in the late fall of that year, here comes the Rose Mallow that I never took up. Like, it was literally just a stick still in the ground. This right here. Let me get my hand out of the way. This right here is literally just a stick in the ground. and for whatever reason I just never took it out. And I planted the cherry bush in there. And now you can see they're both alive. That's a horrible problem to have, isn't it? The problem is, this one's alive, this Rose Mallow is alive. Cherry bush is alive on this side. But there's a cherry bush on the other side. And I would like the two to match. So, do I take out the Rose Mallow and find another spot for it? And probably end up killing it after all? Or do I just leave it here and let it continue to grow a little bit until I can figure out a different place for it? I don't know. I feel like, I mean, if I leave it much longer, it's going to end up killing the cherry bush. And then I'll be right back to having something different on both sides. So, guess I should get it out of there this year. Alright, let's pull this aside and get a look underneath that weed block. There's a runner from something. Don't know which one. Well, see if I can figure it out. Oh, and there's another runner. I wonder if these cherry bushes actually put out runners. Wow, and I practically used the same exact hole to put that in, probably. Ooh. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I would say those runners are from the cherry bush, but let's just take them off. It just came off really easy. Well, at least this soil's not all cracked. So, I really do kind of think maybe that is why this side greened up quicker. Maybe it got more moisture last year. And over the winter, we hardly got any moisture over the winter, so... And then there's another root. Just can't decide what to do about this Rose Mallow. I guess maybe I will come back with a spade at some point when it's watered and dig it out of there. Yep. And I think I have a spot for it over along that line of trees and shrubs. So I feel like this was a Nanking cherry bush. And over there I have a different kind. I'm pretty sure it's got a tag on it still, but somewhere I wrote it all down, and unfortunately I can't find where I wrote it all down. And Dad started the original map of the apple trees, but I've added things on. I don't think we ever added those in, so yes, bad gardener. Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one open for the moment. I will come back tomorrow and dig that one out and refresh this mulch. In fact, I may put a little bit of my composted soil on there too. But let's look at some of these other ones. They are getting to be fairly good size. They're very yellow on the leaves. I would say that's a sign that we haven't had water here. Oh, and there's a sign of bird poop. But yeah, so I gotta get some treatment going on some of these. And then this one here is putting out some good sized leaves. Almost as big as my hand there. But something's eating on them. So, gotta get some treatment for those. And then this one here, it's looking nice. So there's not a lot of, it just doesn't feel like there's been a lot of growth in the actual tree. But the leaves sure do take off each year. And it's getting some growth along there. It's just that last year it had some growth that way too. And then by the end of the year, it was back to just being basically two stick, a stick with a branch on it. So it's kind of confusing. And then the cedar tree here, it's going to need to get pruned pretty soon. It's getting pretty brown from not having enough water. But yeah, this tree has to be mowed under, and so some of it's got to get trimmed out of here. And this branch right here, I think, is going to get actually removed. So that you can get around here a little bit easier. But most of it's just needing to be trimmed because it's starting to grow downward. So, and this spot was fixed up when I moved in. They had a dianthus in here. Well, I don't know what they had in here. When I bought it, it was in January that we came and looked at it. In March that I actually bought it. And it was April by the time we moved in. And so that summer, I had tried to plant a couple hostas and things out here, and next thing I knew, I could see pink from the front porch. And I thought, I think there's a dianthus down there. And it was pink up until a couple days ago. It's just been too dry even for it. But a couple days ago, I could have seen it as pink from all the way up at the porch up there. I could tell the pink out here. But anyhow, so I think I'm going to get some more dianthus and put in here. But last year I did some lilies, and they never really came up last year. But all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, I came out and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're sprouting. But they're not going to do a whole lot more than that this year, I don't think. This one maybe. That one might, and the one next to it, but they're almost too shaded, I think. But anyhow, and that dianthus just really loved that spot. I think it was just the right side of the tree that gets the right amount of sunshade. Anyhow, so it's not very pretty down here, but it's growing something, and I'm thinking if I do some soil amending down here and find the right combination of things, it could be a pretty little flower bed out here. And then the other problem is it's got to be the right combination of things that doesn't have to get watered very often, because it is literally 300 feet away. I don't know how, I don't really know how far it is, but it's kind of in an area where the items along this row right here and these Rose Mallow, no, why do I want to say Rose of Sharon? It's Rose Mallow that was on the tag by the conservation department. So I'm thinking of the plant that's growing in my garden. Anyhow, so watering these I can do once a week with the hose reel over there, and or rain would be better, but anyhow. And so this is another cherry bush, and I believe it's a different variety. In fact, I know it's a different variety than what I have over there. I just don't think I still have the tag on the plant, and I don't know where my sheet went. See if I can pull any of this away and see if I can find one. But yeah, these are doing beautifully over here. It's a little bit of yellowness to the leaves right now, but for not having been watered at all and being in the middle of a drought in early June, that's crazy for here. And there's a couple of these along this side here where the ants have really glued everything together, or glued all the mulch together, I should say. And so that's part of the reason that I want to refresh. Just checking for anything that seems like it's causing any root damage or anything. So, nope, no tag. And I'm not seeing any signs of ants or larvae or any of that stuff, so. But there is some sticking together of mulch, so. Like something's been really, I don't know. Oh, let's see. Oh, we got a root there. So we got roots coming up out of the soil. I should finish uncovering it then. And see, this always makes me wonder if there was an ant colony in it and there just isn't anymore, because that's like, yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what, I think I am done for the morning. And I'm gonna call it quits and get some sleep today and come back out tomorrow morning. So I have done one thing in this flower bed this year, and that was I came out to pull out some daisies, wild daisies that had grown in this circle out here. And I literally just leaned them over and they broke off. But anyhow, what I was really coming to say is I love coneflowers. They are so easy to take care of because you really don't do anything and they make a nice, pretty flower. Now the one beside it's getting a little bit older, but so pretty. And then we've got some more over this way and a nice big tall one there. So there'll be quite a bit more there. And I got to get my fountain fixed up because I think the bucket broke and it won't hold water. And the sedum has grown from just a little thing to spreading out so nice. And once upon a time, a seed dropped from the bird feeder right there, and it created a sunflower. And then last year another sunflower grew, and then this year another sunflower is growing. So it's like it's reseeding itself each year. And it's getting ready to have a seed head here. But boy, that's a pretty big stalk already. So I wonder how tall it's going to get by the end of summer. Won't that be kind of neat to keep an eye on? And then that's where the daisy was that just kind of came out. It came out and it was waist high, and I just kind of bent it over and it broke. So, and there were about 6 or 8 stalks all together, but it just went over and snapped off. So I'm thinking maybe another sedum. Another one like that right in here. I think that'd work. And then this side actually looks much better than the other, but I do still need to get my little fountain fixed up here. So this was something that I came up with last year, and pretty sure the bucket has broken and it's leaking water, so I just need to replace the bucket, and I'll probably actually use a black one this year. Anyhow, all right, I'm gonna go get some sleep.